Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Pan Fried Pie. Today I'm going to be continuing the drop-down list talk, and we're going to be learning about dependent drop-down lists. So last time what we did was we looked at how to create a drop-down list, and we did that in the country column here in this table that I built by going to the Data tab and clicking on Data Validation and going through the steps to create a drop-down list. And what we're going to do in this video is we are going to create dependent drop-down lists. So depending on which country I select, that'll return a number of different states that are relevant to that country. And then the city that we select would be dependent upon which state we selected. And we are going to create that whole line of drop-down lists in less than 5 minutes. So bear with me, and we're going to get started. So we're going to go down to the data tab here at the bottom. There's a couple things that you guys need to do at first. Is you have to learn how to plan your drop-down lists. So the first list that I created was this list right here for the country, and we used that in the last video. And in this video, we're going to be using all the rest of these. So what I did was I went through and I created all of these lists, and where the numbers inside, that's the order that I created the lists in. And I put all these numbers up on the top here of each table so that you can see the number of columns, and you can see quite quickly that as the number of dependent drop-down fields increase in your spreadsheet, the more options you're going to have. We've got 3 entries in each list, and that means by the third list, we're looking at 27 entries that we have to put in just so that the user can return 3. So how to do this, one of the things that you're going to have to do when you want to do dependent drop-down lists is you're going to have to name your lists. And the easiest way to do this is on your first list, you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name this fake country. And you can't, in the name, you can't have a space. So now this right here is known as fake country. I can select that one, both of those 2, but as soon as I select all 3, it's called fake country. And anytime I write fake country, just like that in Excel, it's going to refer to these 3 cells. It's actually kind of nifty. So what you're going to want to do is let's look down at the second data tab. We're going to take those numbers away. You're going to want to take your first, there you go. You want to take your first entry, and that is the name that you're going to name your next list. See this list here? This is USA. Now this right here, UK, is the name of this list. And it continues onward. See, this is Netherlands here. So Netherlands is the name of this list. And when you do it that way, and you just go slow and steady, you wind up with something that actually works. If you don't do it that way, then it gets really hard. So, for instance, Minnesota here is the name of this list, and it just continues onward. And you just take your time, you map your way out, and this is the best way that I know how to do it, especially when you're working with numerous dependent drop-downs. Once you have everything named correctly, then the rest of it's really, really easy. It's really simple. So I put some instructions here just in case you guys wanted to see them. We'll do that. And yeah, so now let's take this information, let's go back and actually create our dependent drop-down lists in the first tab. So first thing that we're going to want to do, like we did last time, is go to the Data tab, click Data Validation, move to Settings, say List, and the source for this list, I'm going to say equals country, because that's the name of the table in Data tab 2. I'm going to say OK. It's going to give me the option of those 3. Immediately afterward, I can go to the state column, and I can click Data Validation. I can tell Excel, give me a list. And the source, there's a new function. You're going to type indirect here, and then the source is going to be the country field. I'm going to delete the $sign so I can copy that downward, and that's that. What indirect does is whatever the text is in the country field, it returns that table name to the source. So it's actually a kind of a nifty function to be aware of. So I'm going to hit OK. And it says that this source evaluates to an error. Do you want to continue? Yes. The reason why it evaluates to an error is because I've referenced this cell, and there's nothing contained in this cell right now. So there's nothing for this to do. We're just going to move right along to the city. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to go data validation, list, and we're going to say our source is equals indirect, and it's going to be the state field. Delete that $sign and hit OK. And yes, that's OK. So before we get too far, let's copy that down to all of the cells that we're going to be working with. And you can see that I can pick the USA, the UK, the Netherlands, and so on and so forth. And I have Minnesota, Texas, or South Dakota as options. I have Wales, Yorkshire, and Scotland as options. I have South Holland. Let's go to Scotland and South Dakota. And based on these entries, indirect is saying, well, I'll return the table Texas, so Austin. And now it's saying, I will return the table Wales. And you can go through in just a matter of seconds and create a bunch of really, really powerful and dependent drop-down lists for the management of all of your tables in Microsoft Excel. So I hope this helped you guys. You can do a lot of really cool stuff in the source tab for data validation. It doesn't have to be just indirect. You can use if statements. You can do random numbers. You can generate random lists and things like that. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. So keep doing what you're doing. If you got any questions, either leave a comment, send an email. If you want a copy of this, I will email it to you, panfriedpie@gmail.com. And yeah, I'll see you next time, YouTube.